Hillary Clinton picking up a major endorsement today as well, which could be vital as the campaign prepares to move south. According to the latest NBC Marist polls, Clinton holds a 74 to 17% advantage among African-American voters in South Carolina. And now the very influential Congressional Black Caucus is giving its backing.
When we needed someone to come to rally Democrats, and especially African-Americans, and at the request of the CBC PAC, Hillary Clinton has been there. When the issues that are important to our constituents, Hillary Clinton has been there.
All right, it's the Congressional Black Caucus PAC. Bernard Whitman is a former pollster for President Bill Clinton and CEO of Whitman Strategies Group. Ed Rollins, former national campaign director for President Reagan, former White House deputy chief of staff, and a Fox News contributor. Bernard, is this a big day for Hillary Clinton getting this endorsement?
Yeah, I think it's a huge day. I think it reinforces a 40-year career of fighting for social justice, fighting for racial equality, and it underscores the fact that Hillary Clinton has huge ties to the African-American community, both in South Carolina and across the country. I think that's something that is going to bedevil Bernie Sanders, particularly in South Carolina, as we move over to Nevada. She's got very strong ties in policies that are designed specifically to help lift people out of poverty that are disproportionately people of color, African Americans, and Latinos.
Okay, but the interesting thing, Ed, is that some people in the Congressional Black Caucus, specifically Congressman Keith Ellison today, said that he felt left out, that he wasn't asked whether or not he should be part of this vote. And there's also been, kind of rumors around that maybe since those polls are so old, that some African Americans are going to start going over to Bernie Sanders now.
Well, the key thing for her is if she in any way has an erosion among the African American support, which can be as high as 50% in some of these southern states among the Democrats, she'll have a tough time putting her coalition together. She's already lost young voters. She had a clobbering in New Hampshire, totally unexpected to get beat as bad as she did. And my sense is Bernie Sanders is now a serious candidate. He has to be dealt with as a serious candidate. And Democrats have proportional nominations all the way through here. So every state I think he will compete in, and he will start. Harry Belafonte today endorsed him, a magical name in the civil rights movement.
Right.
So I don't think the Black Caucus today alone is going to basically turn that around.
And you brought up an incredibly important point, that the primaries are proportional.
Absolutely.
So there's no reason for him to go away.
And he has money.
And he has money. More than $7 million he's raised since New Hampshire. It's astounding. Let's move on to this. Meantime, former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg eyeing a presidential run ever more closely now as an independent. So would he be able to woo the near record 44% of Americans who say they're independent, according to Gallup? Bernard.
Yeah, I think he has a very wide lane to run here. Why? As you point out, nearly half identify as independents. More than 60% say they want to see a third party. And the truth is, a plurality, if not a majority of Americans, have a common sense approach to government. They want to build consensus, build coalitions. They're pro-growth, but they also want protection. So, for example, most people favor paid leave, but they also want to keep their taxes low. Most people want to fight climate change and want to save a woman's right to choose, but also recognize that you have to have unions contribute more to pensions. So I think that group of voters is going to appeal strongly to Mike Bloomberg.
But here's the thing, Ed. If he decides to go for it, he has a lot of work to do. Let's take a look. His first deadline is in Texas on May 9th. That's when he needs around 80,000 registered voters to sign off in his independent run. They can't be anyone who voted in the primary the week before. And the most signatures he needs, California, nearly 180,000 of them. Let alone all that, he would also need to hire a campaign chief in each state, meaning around 3,000 people on his payroll by Election Day. You're familiar with independent runs.
It's a big task. When Ross Perot ran, he had 6 million volunteers who'd basically been out there, put him on the ballot before he even got in the race. Mike Bloomberg doesn't have that, wouldn't attract that. Even with all of that, Perot could not get one single electoral college. Even though a large segment of the population says they are independents, traditionally they vote Republican or Democrat. There's about 10%.
Well, what about this year, though? Because this year is totally unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Bill Clinton and George Herbert Walker Bush, they were actually not that far apart on a number of issues relative to where the two parties are today. So I think this middle lane is really wide open for someone like Mike Bloomberg to come in a year where we have everyone shouting from the sidelines. I think voters would like a common sense approach.
I welcome him, and he'll draw from your side, not from my side. I promise you, guys.
I don't know about that.
A gun control guy, climate control, that's going to really work well in the red states.
Okay, funny you should mention that. I'm about to talk about that now, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Good.